Hello and welcome, Impact Performance Products customers. Today's training class is the EPA 6H NESHAP Painter Certification Training and will take approximately 20 minutes to complete. My name is Brandon Thomas from GMG EnviroSafe, and I'll be your trainer today. A quick bio on me: I was the president of Collision Revision, which was an MSO in Chicago, and I'm currently the CEO of GMG EnviroSafe, and I stay involved in the industry through NABC, CIC, Recycled Rides, and various committees. GMG EnviroSafe has been providing compliance services as well as employee safety programs for body shops for nearly 30 years. We care deeply about you and your family, and we're committed to providing you a safe and healthy working environment. If you should ever have any OSHA or EPA issues, or just a general question, please don't hesitate to contact us at the number on the screen. Here is the training overview of what we'll be covering for 6H NESHAP Painter Certification. Everything from spray guns, to gun cleaning, to booth setup, and the overall benefits of compliance. NESHAP stands for the National Emission Standard for Hazardous Air Pollutants and was established as a regulation by the EPA in 2011. Rule 40, CFR 63, subpart HHH, which we commonly refer to as 6H in the collision repair industry, covers all of the requirements for the shops themselves and painters. The overall goal of the EPA's rule is to reduce and minimize the impact of hazardous air pollutants, also known as HAPs, on not only ourselves but also the environment. "6H NESHAP has 6 main requirements for a body shop. The first is they must use fully enclosed spray booths, prep stations, or mobile enclosures. Painters must now use enclosed gun washers or clean their gun manually without pressing the trigger and atomizing any type of cleaning solvent. In the shop, spray guns must be HVLP, which is high volume, low pressure, or have an equivalent transfer efficiency of a HVLP spray gun. The booth filters in the exhaust must be 98% or higher capture efficient when it comes to capturing particulates. Painters must be trained every 5 years or within 180 days of their start date, and the shop must notify the EPA of their compliance status. It's not just the painter that has to go through 6H NESHAP certification. In fact, anyone that handles a spray gun in a body shop must be trained on the topics on the screen. If there's a painter's helper or a body technician spraying primer, they would need to go through this training as well. The training must cover all 5 of these topics, which includes a general overview of the regulations themselves, proper spray gun selection and usage to reduce hazardous air pollutants, appropriate spray techniques to reduce overspray, approved spray areas and equipment, and finally, proper spray gun cleaning. Transfer efficiency is a critical component of spray gun selection. Hazardous air pollutants are released into the environment as materials are atomized from the spray gun. Transfer efficiency is the amount of paint that gets deposited onto the part or the vehicle compared to how much sprays past the part and is wasted and put into the atmosphere. 6H NESHAP requires all spray guns to have at least 65% transfer efficiency, which means 65% of the paint that is mixed is deposited onto the part. Every high-volume, low-pressure, otherwise known as HVLP spray gun meets the transfer efficiency requirement of 6H NESHAP, which again is 65% or greater. Using an HVLP gun also benefits the shop because it reduces the amount of VOC emissions for each vehicle that's painted. With less paint that gets emitted, it'll extend the life of your booth filters in your exhaust system, which results in less maintenance and cleanup overall to keep your booth in good shape. In addition, HVLP spray guns will provide a better match of the OEM finish, reduce overall paint and material consumption, and save the shop money. Even though you may be using an HVLP spray gun, it is important to remember that proper spray gun setup can affect transfer efficiency by as much as 30%. Proper air and fluid pressure is critical. Excessive air pressure causes turbulence in the sprayed material, resulting in overspray and it can reduce your transfer efficiency down to 35 or 40% overall. You can minimize the fluid pressure to reduce bounce back of materials. Always follow the manufacturer's recommendations for spray gun setup. Materials that spray too heavy as a droplet or too light as a dry mist results in additional painting and results in additional emissions of hazardous air pollutants. Two important concepts that have an inverse relationship are air pressure and air volume. As the amount of air increases, the pressure decreases. Using the wrong air hose will affect the overall air pressure and reduce transfer efficiency. When you're spraying in a paint booth, you should be using at least a 3/8 inch hose for HVLP spray guns. Also, hose length is important, no more than 50 feet of total length. The general rule of thumb is for every 25 feet in hose length, you will lose 5 psi. Using high flow air fittings and adjusting the pressure with a wall regulator are also important to make sure that you're not starving your spray guns for air. Spray gun regulators may provide the right pressure, but they may not also provide the right volume of air, which will reduce your transfer efficiency. You can make adjustments to your spray gun setup to affect transfer efficiency. Fan adjustment will control the amount of air that passes through the air cap's horn passages. A spray gun manufacturer will normally engrave the maximum input air pressure on the side of your spray gun. If you exceed that maximum, excessive air pressure will build in the air cap and can cause overspray. Typically, cap pressure should not exceed 10 psi. Another spray gun adjustment is fluid flow. Fluid flow will regulate the amount of paint that actually passes through the seat and fluid needle. High solid paint, such as water-based paint, requires a smaller fluid tip as it will directly affect paint atomization. You can prevent orange peel and color match issues by referring to the technical data sheets from your paint manufacturer to make sure that you're selecting the proper fluid tip size. The next section of our training class is the appropriate spray techniques for a painter. As a reminder, a professional coating application should have each of the 5 following features: a uniform finish on the panel, wet film, gloss in the clear coat, compliant transfer efficiency that reduced overall hazardous air pollutant emissions. Volatile organic compounds, also known as VOCs, are a main source of pollution from a body shop. One of the best ways to minimize VOC emissions for a body shop is to mix only the amount of paint that's needed. Although a painter's prior experience does help in determining the proper quantity, always refer to the technical data sheets from the paint manufacturer to use the correct amounts. The correct ratio of reducers and hardeners will also ensure VOC limits for your geographic area or municipality are not exceeded while spraying. The viscosity of the paint can have an overall impact on the transfer efficiency as well. The mixing ratio that the painter used is not an adequate reflection of the viscosity of the material. In fact, how long the paint has been opened, how long since the paint has been agitated, and the overall temperature of the paint can all impact the viscosity. Always reduce the paint to the manufacturer's recommended viscosity to get better results and avoid having to repaint a part. The different techniques that a painter may use can also have an impact on transfer efficiency by up to 30%. This can include the angle and the distance of the spray gun relative to the surface being painted, as well as the spray gun speed and overlapping technique. Spray application should always be done at a 90-degree angle or perpendicular to the part that's being painted, and no more than 5 to 7 inches away from the surface. As a painter, you should stay consistent with the speed your spray gun travels. Moving too fast will lay a rough or dry finish, while moving too slow will cause the material to sag or run. Proper overlap is 65 to 75% with each pass. If you use the proper overlap and consistent speed, it will reduce the chances of mottling or striping of metallic colors. You also have a consistent film build, an even texture, and you'll save in materials. Most shops overlook the fact that spray gun cleaning also releases hazardous air pollutants. The EPA 6H NESHAP regulation bans the practice of spraying cleaning solvent through the gun unless it's in a fully enclosed gun washer. In fact, the EPA only has 3 approved gun cleaning methods: A painter can hand clean his or her gun. They can flush the gun with solvent without spraying or atomizing the materials out in the shop, or they can use a fully enclosed gun washer. We have a few examples of enclosed gun washers on the screen. Spraying cleaning solvent into a booth filter is also not permitted. Filters are not designed to capture the solvent materials, and this just results in emissions of hazardous air pollutants. In some areas, enclosed gun washers are mandatory. Be sure to check with your local air quality agency to determine if these are required or if a painter can hand clean. Our next section deals with the equipment itself and where the spraying takes place. If you are painting a fully assembled vehicle, even if you're only painting a part on that vehicle, all paint spraying must be done within an enclosed spray booth that meets all of the requirements on the screen. A fully enclosed roof, walls on all sides, the doors kept closed while spraying, negative pressure to draw the overspray into the exhaust, and positive pressure to not exceed 0.05 inches of water. If you are painting standalone parts that have been removed from the vehicle, you can use a prep station as long as it meets the following requirements. The prep station must have at least 3 complete walls or side curtains that reach from the roof all the way to the floor. The roof itself must be fully enclosed. There also must be a filtration system to capture overspray, and the prep station must be ventilated so that air is drawn into the prep station and through the exhaust. The filters themselves that you use on a paint booth or prep station are also a critical part of the overall paint process. Regularly changing out your booth filters will provide a more consistent finish and a higher quality job. It also has health benefits as it provides better protection for the painter because the hazardous materials can exhaust from the booth at a much faster rate. This also results in reduced emissions, reduced material usage, and reduced energy use for whatever you're using to heat up the paint booth. Booth filters themselves should be properly disposed of as a hazardous waste unless they've been tested and certified as non-hazardous prior to going into a landfill. Compliance with the EPA's 6H NESHAP rule will provide better health and safety for the employees in the shop and residents in the community. It's also important to note that a body shop can save money by following the guidelines of 6H NESHAP. Shops save money because the overall usage of materials to refinish a part goes down, as well as gun cleaning solvent consumption, disposal costs, and the frequency that booth filters have to be changed. Now that you've completed the EPA 6H NESHAP painter certification, it's time to get your certificate. Please submit the review quiz and painter training sign-in sheet to our office so that we can generate that for you. If you do not have these forms, please ask your RDA distributor to provide them to you. Remember, the certificates are good for each painter for 5 years. Thank you for your time. If you have any safety or environmental questions, please don't ever hesitate to contact your local GMG EnviroSafe representative or our office at the 800 number on the screen. We've been helping body shops comply with EPA and OSHA regulations since 1989. If you own or manage a shop and would like to get some peace of mind and expertise on these complex and challenging issues, please don't hesitate to contact us. We'd love to help.